Okay, so let's continue. Now, to guide this strategy, the plan sets a clear overarching vision. A and what is that vision? A trusted, secure, and reliable cyberspace for every Filipino. Trust means building confidence across the entire technology supply chain so citizens know their digital interactions are safe. Security means applying proactive risk management to defend both physical networks and digital assets. Reliability ensures system continuity so that essential services remain online without unexpected technical failures. Crucially, the plan expands traditional cybersecurity beyond the classic CIA triad. It is now confidentiality, integrity, and the confidentiality, integrity, and availability into now a comprehensive seven-pillar model, which is the SIANA. Confidentiality, integrity, okay, availability, non-repudiation, authenticity, privacy, and safety. The evolution of security paradigms are more of a traditional cybersecurity focused almost on or almost exclusively on CIA, okay? Keeping secrets, ensuring data accuracy, and maintaining uptime. While the expanded Siena PS model, it will include the non-repudiation, proving that an action or a transaction was executed by a specific entity without them being able to deny it. Authenticity, verifying that users, systems, and devices are genuinely genuinely who they claim to be. Okay? Privacy, ensuring citizen personally identifiable information, okay, which is protected under the Data Privacy Act of 2012, as well as safety, protecting physical life and infrastructure from digital attacks, especially in industrial control systems. Now, why do safety and authenticity matter? So, imagine a hacker manipulating the SCADA systems of a municipal water treatment plant or a power grid. Now, a breach doesn't just leak your data, which is confidentiality. It will endanger physical citizen as well, okay, which is now their safety. Okay. Now, similarly, deepfake technology or fake government email domains violate authenticity and non-reputation. Mislead because they are misleading the public during emergency situations. Now, to understand why this plan is so urgent, we must look at the local threat landscape. Okay. According to cybersecurity research, web threats web threat attempts against Philippine base skyrocketed by over by 432% between 2021 to 2022. That is as per Kaspersky report. Between 2021 and early 2023, the Philippine National Computer Emergency Response Team handled over 3,470 critical security incidents out of the 57,400 monitored threats. Now, looking at the data, malware makes up nearly half of all attacks, okay, at 48.9, followed by data leaks at 12.5 and website compromise at 12.4. Now, Who is being targeted? Government and emergency services bear the brunt at 60.9% of all attacks, followed by the academe at 16.7 and telecoms at 7.7. Now, this is not just a technical nuances. It threatens our 1.87 trillion digital economy and our $33 billion plus IT business processing sectors. Okay. Now, it could result to economic vulnerability. The IT BPO or the IT BPM employs over 1.5 million Filipinos and relies heavily on 24/7 uninterrupted secure connectivity. Okay. Now, attacks against government portals or telecom providers undermine global uh, client confidence in the Philippines as an offshore technology hub. So, leaving now to our asymmetric threats, which is government agencies are primary targets because they house a vast or a big amount of citizen databases and often operate legacy systems with an unpatched vulnerabilities. So, to tackle these challenges, the NCSP organizes its roadmap into a strategic results framework built on three interconnected pillars. The output or outcome number one is the proactive defense of the states and citizens. This focuses on technical infrastructure, real-time threat intelligence, or the uh, intelligence fusion and automated monitoring. Okay, as per the NCSP 2320-2028. We also have outcome number two, increasing cybersecurity workforce capabilities, addressing the global skill shortage by training professionals, creating civil service career paths, and educating the public. Now, as part of outcome three, or with your outcome three, the strengthening of the policy, wherein the establishing regulatory teeth, enacting modern cybersecurity laws, and mandating risk-based uh, security compliance for CII or critical information infrastructure. Now, technology without skilled people will still fail. Okay, skilled people without clear laws cannot enforce compliance, and policies without technical infrastructure are just empty words. Now, the three outcomes work in unison under the oversight of the National Cybersecurity Interagency Committee. Okay? Now, how the pillar works together. If a nation faces a coordinated cyber attack on its banking grid, outcome 1 provides the SOC infrastructure to detect and block the attack, while outcome 2 ensures certified local threat analysts are available to respond, and outcome 3 gives government regulators the legal authority to require banks to share threat intelligence immediately without fear of regulatory penalties. Now, under outcome 1, the plan prioritizes securing the physical and logical backbones of government communications. Now, the government network or the GovNet is an interconnecting or is interconnecting over 3,900 uh, 3,900 plus national and local government agencies across the 5,414 kilometer national fiber backbone, which the NCSP recalibrates GovNet to be secure by design. So the key measures or key measures will include deploying integrated intrusion detection and prevention system, the CM, and security orchestration platforms across government bodies, as well as strengthening the national government data center to host classified data under international security standards, and partnering with telcos to implement secure border gateway protocol, or the BGP, and the route or origin validation, or the ROV, to protect internet traffic routing. Now, we rather than or we uh, or rather than allowing each government agency to manage its own isolated, potentially insecure internet connection, GovNet consolidates government internet traffic into a monitored wide area network. Now, BGP is also the fundamental routing protocol that will direct traffic across the global internet. However, uh, vanilla BGP is vulnerable to prefix hijacking. What is this prefix hijacking? It's where a malicious actor advertises false IP routes to divert internet traffic through their servers before forwarding it to its destination. So, a central operational shift in the NCSP 2023 to 2028 is the establishment of a standardized 2 CERT and 3 SOC structure to eliminate operational overlap and streamline incident handling. Now, we have two national coordinating CERTs. The National CERT under the DICT, which coordinates all the civilian government agencies, LGUs, and private sector critical infrastructure, while the defense CERT are under the DND and AFP, which are dedicated to military operations, defense assets, and state-sponsored cyber threats. Now, supporting them are three national SOCs: the NCIN, okay, which is operated by NICA as a cyber fusion center for national threat aggregation and attribution. We also have your NSOC under the DICT, operating 24/7 for civilian government monitoring, and Cyber Command SOC within the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Now, when an attack occurs, response cannot be chaotic. The NCSP adopts a standardized six-stage incident response model that is adapted from an international frameworks like the NIST. Now, every organization from small LGU to a major bank is trained to follow these exact steps. Now, first is to identify, okay? Answer the five W's and one H. What happened, when, who is affected, and the other W's of this identification, and assign a severity level. Now, next, two, or decontain. Immediately isolate infected systems to stop threat from spreading laterally. And you have your analyze, perform forensics to find the root cause and vector of each or of breach. Then we eradicate. We remove malware, patch security gaps, and reset compromised credentials. Recover. We safely restore systems from clean backups. to normal operations. Then learn, we document or conduct a post-mortem, document lessons that we have learned and shared intelligence with the insert. Now, cybersecurity is not just a virtual, it's not just virtual, also it depends heavily on physical infrastructure. Over 99% of the international internet traffic flows over the subsea, okay? Subsea fiber optic cables. The Philippines currently relies on 11 active uh, international cable landing stations. Okay, we uh, and sorry, many of these subsea cables pass through the geopolitically contested waters in the West Philippine Sea and Taiwan Strait. Now, currently, the average repair time for damaged subsea cables in the West Philippine Sea is 130 days, well above the global average due to complex licensing and vessel availability. Now, to protect our 33 billion plus BPO industry and national connectivity, the NCSP mandates multi-agency protection involving the DICT. Now, if you have read the NCSP, okay, you can find there whatever I have mentioning here in. Now, the Philippines Coast Guard, the Department of National Defense, and the private consortiums to monitor, map, and secure these vital subsea lines. Moving to our outcome number two, technology is only as good as the people operating it. Okay? Now, the world faces a critical cybersecurity skills shortage, and the Philippines is no exception. To build a resilient national talent pipeline, the plan introduces several key initiatives. We have reestablishing the DICT ICT Academy and institutionalizing a cybersecurity center of excellence. We would also working with the Civil Service Commission and DBM to create a dedicated government cybersecurity plantilla. Now, providing higher education scholarships as well is part of this outcome two under the RA 11927 and establishing the TESDA national certification for roles like SOC analyst. Okay. Now, hosting annual regional and national hacking competitions to scout top talent. Also, officially designating October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month under Proclamation number 353. Now, under Outcomes 3, the plan shifts how we have able to protect our most critical assets. Okay? Rather than regulating entire industrial sectors with broad blanket rules, the NCSP adopts a risk-based entity identification model, which is specific companies, whether in power, water, banking, telecom, or health, are formally identified as a CIA or CII, okay, based on nine specific criteria. Now, once a once formally designated by the president and the NSHAC, an entity undergoes a mandatory 24-month onboarding process, okay, requiring them to appoint, okay, a certified cybersecurity information officer and submit the biannual external security audits. Now, to give these policies true enforcement capability, The NCSP outlines a comprehensive legislative and regulatory agenda. Key legislative goals includes passing the uh, Cybersecurity Act and Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Act. Now, this policy provides a feature. Okay, some of them are mandatory incident disclosure. Okay, wherein requiring severe breaches to be reported to NSERT. We have report or responsible disclosure safe harbor. Okay, creating legal protections for ethical security researchers. You have your minimum technical standards. We mandate zero trust architectures. Then security by design, accredited by VAPT, that are service providers and voluntary IoT security labeling. Okay. Now, to conclude, the National Cybersecurity Plan 2023-2028 provides a comprehensive, realistic, and ambitious master plan for the Philippines. By building secure infrastructure, capacitating our workforce, and enforcing risk-based legal standards, the DICT and its partner agencies are working to guarantee that every Filipino can participate in the digital economy safely. Protecting our cyberspace is a shared responsibility across government, private industry, academia, and the individual citizens. So that's it. That's our two-part video on IT security policies.